My 2x4 came from a pallet, and the combined lengths were a little long, so I chopped it down and threw away the drop. Living in Japan is a little hard to find a 2x4, but the pallet would work just fine. I had a lot of fun with this project and would like to thank Brian and all the sponsors for putting together this 2x4 challenge. Also, I would like to thank everybody who did their project early. Thank you for the inspiration and sharing all y'all's great projects. You see, living on base, it's hard to be a weekend warrior and take on woodworking projects. Thank you for inspiring me to go to the wood shop and build something unique. As you can see with my concept video in the upper left hand corner, I'm building a Ishidoru? Google, say it for me.
Ishidoro.
So what is an Ishidoro? It is a Japanese-style stone lantern that was first introduced by Koreans and Chinese immigrants in the 6th century, originally used as a votive lamp in front of Buddhist temples, much like the candles you see in many Christian churches. However, in the 16th century, many Japanese started to use them in their tea gardens. At this point, the lantern started to take on many different shapes and styles, along with different types of materials. The oldest Ishidoro, or stone lantern, in Japan is 1,300 years old and is located at the Taima Tea Temple in Nora. And the longest burning flame in Japan was started sometime in the 11th century, located in Okunoin Temple. So now that I learned something, I'll get back to my woodworking. I figured I would start off making the top part first, just because I thought it was going to be the hardest. Boy, was I wrong. Editing this video to make it under the 10-minute mark was extremely hard. Leave it up to me to take a weekend project and turn it into a 7-day job. Once I had all the pieces cut for the top, it was time to do some gluing. After watching a lot of experienced people do woodworking on YouTube, I picked up on using a paintbrush to help with applying the glue to the boards. This was the first time I used a paintbrush for the glue process, and it worked out amazing. I don't think I'm ever going to go back to the finger method or just pour it all over it and get the glue in all the cracks and all that. I think the brush really turned out to be the best tool to use. So now it's step 2. I'm going to build the base of the lantern, and I started off by gluing the 2x4s together and leaving them overnight, and once they were glued, I ran them through the joiner to remove the top and bottom faces. After that, I had to make the 4 pieces that went together. It's just a rounded body with 3 legs. Couldn't be that hard, right? Well, this circle came out imperfect. Apparently, there's like these circle cutting jigs that you can make. I probably need to invest the time to build one so I can start getting perfect circles. The legs aren't too difficult. I drew everything kind of by hand with a rough eyeball of what I wanted, and trimming it out on the bandsaw was a breeze. For some reason, I made the legs 2 inches thick instead of 1.5 inches, which was the thickness of the circle. So there is a little bit of lip that I wasn't too happy with, but I can't complain. The wood was free and the project turned out to look pretty good. And I got to use a lot of tools that I don't normally use in the wood shop. Generally, I just stick to my wheelhouse, which is the table saw. This was the hardest part of the base, was cutting out the notches for the legs in the circle. I didn't know which way I should go with it, but I just settled on the idea I should cut the notch in the circle instead of cut the legs. So finding tools in Japan is kind of difficult. Like this pocket hole jig, I had to order off of Amazon to get it. But here's all my scraps. Here's a hat trick. Now we wait. Okay, so it's been a day. Let's see what my scraps turned into. Alright, I got some brown filament, some LEDs, and a solar panel with a built-in battery pack. Awesome. Oh, look at that. There's something else in here. What is this thing? What is this? Wow. This looks exciting. Let's use it. So I've never done this before, ever. I was very scared of having my project catch on fire right in front of my eyes. So I had like a fire extinguisher and a bucket of water. I was well prepared for everything to go wrong. However, I did have some extremely dark spots, got a little carried away, but the overall look I really liked. And this was another very difficult tool to find in Japan. After spending about an hour and a half in Joyful Honda looking for this pear burner, I guess we'll call it, I finally found it, and thank goodness it had a picture of somebody burning wood on it, or else I would have never known what it was or what it was used for. So here's my 3D printing process. If you're interested in how 3D printing works and all the things that you can make with it, I would suggest subscribing to my channel. I generally do a video about every week or every 2 weeks on a new item or a new design that I printed out. Here I'm just playing around in my AutoCAD system and building the actual lantern part of my Japanese style lantern. So I did the calculations, and this is where the rules get kind of hazy for me. I guess I should have asked the question, but I was gung-ho about using the 3D printer, so I went ahead and did it anyways. When it comes to the actual volume percentage of the 2x4, I'm well within the parameters. But since my solar panel didn't work, it was actually 0.5 volts solar panel, and I needed something around the 3 volt range. I couldn't get my LEDs to light up. I had to use batteries. So when it comes to the weight proportion of the 20% rule, I was well over the weight percent. So if you think I'm a cheater, feel free to leave it in the comments. We can kind of start a conversation of what we can expect next year. I really like the 3D printing aspect. I also really enjoy doing woodworking too, and mixing them together is always a plus for me. So here comes the challenge of the build. When it comes to LEDs, I always have a hard time, mainly because I buy from many different type of manufacturers, and you have to pay really close attention to the amount of forward voltage that is required per LED, such as the last manufacturer I purchased the LEDs from. I only needed 1 volt for a purple blue light-ish LED, and this manufacturer I needed 3 volts. So I was surprised, I was struck. However, I used some batteries and made it all work out. So there it is, all assembled. Sorry to cut the video short, but I was running out of time, and it's a little wonky, but I like it. I think it looks pretty good. I don't know, I felt like I kind of cheated with the 3D printing. If you think so, leave it in the comments. Thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and the thumbs up or the thumbs down, whichever one.